Welcome to the Catholic Life Coach Podcast. My name is Carla Fitz. I'm a certified life coach, wife, and mom of two beautiful little girls and a handsome little boy. My hope for this podcast is to support and empower other Catholic women to live their most authentic life, to share life coaching tools from a Catholic perspective in order to help you live a more fulfilling and aligned life filled with peace, joy, and abundance. Let's get started. Hello, my loves, and welcome to this week's episode. I am so honored and excited to be here with you guys. I wanted to do this episode because this has been in my mind so much lately. And it's been in my mind because of clients talking about it, but also because I'm going through it myself right now. One of the things that I find so unbelievably amazing is that the things that I coach my clients on, the reason why I'm able to coach them well and support them and bring awareness to them is because I've been there. I know where they're at because I've been there. I have been at the stage where my business was a dream. I've been in the stage where I wanted to do something that I had never done before and it felt too big. I felt like it was too much, that I was too much. I've had the thought of I'm too tall, too big, too loud, too opinionated. What if they don't like me? What if people judge me? What if this takes me away from my faith? And I'm here to tell you that if you choose to go after your dreams, the dreams that God very intentionally placed in your heart to be co-created with Him, what you will find is that you become closer, stronger, and more connected to who you are meant to be, and to Him. You start placing Him at a different level. Instead of focusing on what other people think about you, you start worrying more and caring more about what God thinks of you. This is why it's so much harder to say no. When you start living your life authentically and saying yes to the things that He's putting in your heart, you start living your life in alignment. And like I said in the last podcast, yes, it's still 50-50. And sometimes it's not that exciting. Sometimes it's amazing. And sometimes it's just plain on sucks. It is not great. But what I will say is that when you are living your life in alignment with Him, with the person that He's calling you to step into, it is so much more satisfying, and you are filled with gratitude and alignment and know that you are on the right path because you're happier. You don't have resentment. You don't start thinking, oh my goodness, what if I would have done that thing that I dreamed with for way too long? I've also been in that end where I postponed dreams and postponed it and postponed it and postponed it, only to find that they don't go away. If anything, when you have a soulful desire, like your soul desires this dream, truly it is honest, it's because it is placed there by Him. And it is not going to go away just by you ignoring it. It continues to come back because God needs you to do something about it. Perhaps the final destination is not what you imagine, but it is leading you in the right direction. I'm proof of all of this right now because first and foremost, I cannot tell you how long I procrastinated and actually pulling the trigger and doing the thing. So long. But God created the best story with all of this. I fully believe that I was not meant to start traveling 2 years ago like we originally intended because we were supposed to have Giovanni. Like, for sure, my son was supposed to be here with us. And in this trip, I've been able to do it in a much better way. We've been able to do it in a much better way because He provided a way to do it so that Jeremy's not working full time. I'm not working full time, and we're able to homeschool our children while we travel. And I'm able to have my clients and do this podcast, but I'm not alone. I now have a team member, which is a blessing. She helps me with the marketing. I am no longer alone. I could not have planned this in a better way. With that said, though, I wanted to do this episode in honor of my clients, the women that I have talked to that have a dream in their hearts, but they feel like it's too much. They feel like perhaps they shouldn't go for it. Perhaps they should settle for something more quote unquote normal or acceptable or realistic. And also to myself. This past week, I was in Florence, sitting down in one of my favorite places in Florence, which sounds really random, but it's actually the market in Florence. This place brings so much inspiration to me. First, it reminds me of home. It reminds me of Venezuela. There's a place in Venezuela called Merida. It's our favorite city in Venezuela. It's up in the mountains. It's always chilly there. And they have the most spectacular market ever. Half of the market smells like fish. Half the market is loud and they have crafts and it is beautiful. And the Florence market reminds me of home. And when I walk through this market, I'm always so inspired. So I was in the market. It was our last day in Florence, and I was sitting in the upstairs where they have restaurants. And I was watching these people get out their baked goods and serve the most beautiful cappuccinos. And the day before, we went out to eat to a dear friend's restaurant, Pino, and he is so full of joy making these sandwiches, and he makes the single most amazing sandwiches. But we were upstairs in the market, to go back to my story, and I'm sitting in here admiring these women who are baking for a living. But they don't bake for a living, they bake love for a living. Like, these people have so much passion for what they do. They are filled with joy. They serve it to their customers with gratitude and love, and they make it beautiful. And they serve these cappuccinos with slowness and simplicity, but beauty beyond belief. And there's so much inspiration that I felt in that moment. I feel inspiration here all the time because this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And I was sitting in there thinking, why this? And I realized in that moment that I was judging my dreams. What I was telling myself is, why do you want to travel? Why do you want to live in Italy if at all possible? And why do you want to create this business for Catholic women? And why do you want to grow it? Like, why can't you just do something more simple? Why can't you do something more realistic? And it made me sad to feel that way, because I think this is something that I coach, like I said, my clients so many times and other women so many times. I don't ever want any of you to judge the dreams that God places in your heart. No dream is better than the other. That is the truth. The dreams that God places in our hearts, He places it there because that's what we are called to do. It's part of the work that we are meant to do in order to get to Him at the end of our life, or at the beginning of our life, to heaven. This is the destination. This is not the destination, is the journey that we're supposed to go into. And those dreams are part of the journey, is what helps us to grow. No dream, though, is better than the other. I heard recently how sad it is that we can compare St. Teresa of Lisieux with Mother Teresa of Calcutta. They're not the same. Their dreams were not the same. Their lives were not the same. But how sad to compare them, because both of them created such an impact in the world. Same with if we compared St. Francis of Assisi with St. Ignatius or St. Pope John Paul II. All of them had different dreams. We all have different dreams, different journeys that we are meant to go into during our lifetime. But it is in those dreams that God grows our heart. It is in those dreams that God calls us to give the best of each one of us. My dreams is not everybody's dreams. Not everybody wants to leave their home and start living in Airbnbs and deal with squeaky floors and leave their family behind. That is not everybody's dream. This is our dream. And to each one of you that has a big dream in your heart, do not judge your dreams. Accept that that is how God is calling you to live out your life and to grow with Him. The opportunity is not to compare. The opportunity is to step into it. Is to learn to say yes. Is to learn to be ourselves. It's funny because I have met people who have said, oh my goodness, you want to travel to Europe? Like, that is like the most boring thing in the world. And to me, it's so funny because it's like, are you kidding me? And this is like the single most beautiful place in the world because God put that love in my heart. I've heard people say that Italy is a whole nightmare to travel to because the trains are messy and because things are dirty and because things might be delayed. And to me, it's not an issue. To me, it's beautiful. To me, it's an opportunity to grow. To me, is the language that I love and the richness of everything that I love, right? But not everybody's going to love that. And that is very okay. But I think back to the people that are baking and that love what they do. They are adding so much value in the world because they are providing that service for those of us who cannot, for the life of us, bake that way. I wish I could, but I can't. Maybe eventually. But right now, not great. Just made granola yesterday and burned it. Anyhow, not the point. The point of all of this is that do not miss out on the value that you are adding to the world. Just because someone else is doing something that seems more holy than you doesn't mean that what you're doing is not holy. I have no idea. I just had someone reach out on TikTok and she was like, wow, you are such an inspiration. This is my dream. And I am grateful to be an inspiration for someone else that also desires this kind of lifestyle. Like I said, not for everybody, but for those of you that dream about it, I just want to say, even when things don't seem to be moving in the right direction, somehow they are. I would have never imagined that I would be here right now. This was a dream. This is our reality now, but this was a dream. It lived as a dream in our hearts for about 5 years. And now that we're living it, is that moment that I realized, yeah, we were always supposed to be doing this. This is why God put it in our hearts in the first place. If we were not meant to co-create this dream with Him, we would not have the desire in the first place. This is no different than I had a dream one day that I really wanted a community. I wanted to have Catholic women around me. And right now, like I have the single most amazing Catholic women in my programs, both group, individually. Oh my word, I just cannot ask for better clients. And that started as a dream. One of my dreams was to let my husband be home with us and let him figure out something that he wanted to do for work or just help me homeschool or help me in the business. I wanted to give him the freedom of not having to work a 9 to 5, at least for a while. And now that I'm here, it's like we were always meant to do this because God placed it in our hearts for a reason. It was meant to be co-created. My dreams are not better than anyone else's dreams, but just because someone else's dreams seem grander or more exciting or more holy, please, my loves, do not judge your dreams. Do not look to the sides and instead focus your attention, your love, your actions, your desires in Him. Let Him open up the ways in which you are supposed to live out your life and let Him lead you into the person that you are meant to become. Your dreams are there to help you become more of who you are and whom you are meant to be. I hope you find this helpful. I hope you find it encouraging. I hope it makes sense. And I cannot wait to see what God does in your life. I want to hear from you guys. If you want to come on to Instagram and chat with me, share your dreams, what it is that God is calling you to do, how you're feeling about it. I would love to chat with you. So reach out at the Catholic Life Coach and also come follow our journey as we do our pilgrimage throughout Europe, mostly France and Italy right now, and follow our family along. And I cannot wait to chat with you guys. As of now, press on, trust God that He is giving you the right dream in the right time. All right, my loves, until next time, God bless. Thank you so much for listening. If you are ready to dive deeper into creating an aligned life with God at the center of it all, I want to invite you to a one-on-one consultation call with me. This is your chance to explore what is possible for you and to take the next step towards living with more clarity, peace, and joy. Sign up today. The link is in the description. I also want to invite you to leave a review if you have been enjoying these episodes, and make sure to share it with a friend. That way God can reach more and more amazing Catholic women. All right, until next time, God bless.